I'm shooting this video and I'm going to entitle it, I have never met an African vegan or vegetarian. And the reason why I'm shooting this video is because there's this false notion or rhetoric that's going around that our ancestors were vegetarians and didn't eat meat, which is not the case. Our ancestors ate meat. And I'll tell people this, whenever I'm in Africa and I go spend time with the Himba, or I spend time with the Maasai, or I spend time with the Dogon, they're always eating meat, primarily goat, all the time. They eat a ton of goat. And I tell people that our African brothers and sisters that still live the indigenous lifestyle are the closest thing that we have to the ancestors in the flesh. And then I'll tell you this other story. When me and my buddy in LA, we have a mutual friend in Arusha, Tanzania. My friend in LA, he's a vegetarian. Whenever I would go to Arusha and stay with our mutual friend in Arusha, the first question that our friend in Arusha would ask was, Dynas, do you only eat plantain like our friend in LA? I'm like, no, I'll eat meat. I'll eat whatever you put in front of me out of respect. So with that being said, he never said, hey, are you vegetarian or vegan like our friend in LA? He asked, do you only eat plantain like our friend in LA? In these indigenous African languages, whether it be the indigenous Maasai language, Bambara, the language that the Dogon speak, there's no concept or term for vegan or vegetarian. The best way that he could describe it was, do you only eat plantain like a friend? So that's why I'm saying our ancestors ate meat. They were not vegan or vegetarians. Now, I understand why people are moving towards a more cleaner vegan or vegetarian diet and getting away from meat here in America. Is because they're poisoning our food here in America with all these hormones, these pesticides, these chemicals, so it can have longer shelf life. They're poisoning it. So I understand why. So let's just, instead of, creating this false story or narrative about our ancestors only ate vegetables and didn't eat meat and were vegetarians, or this false narrative that in order to open up your third eye, you have to be a vegetarian. Let's stop putting that out there and just keep it real. Like, look, hey, they're poisoning our food, so we have to eat this vegetarian or this vegan food. That's why we chose to live this lifestyle, which I respect. Another thing too, the price points. The people I know in Africa that primarily ate vegetables and rice and didn't eat meat, they didn't consider themselves vegan or vegetarian. The only reason why they ate rice and vegetables was because they couldn't afford meat. But when they got money and could afford meat, they ate meat. So with that being said, how in the hell when you have a vegan restaurant, I need somebody tell me the logic behind how can a couscous tofu wrap be $10 or $12, but you go up the street to Mr. Han's China kitchen and you could get a shrimp fried rice plate, a chicken wing, some orange chicken, and an orange soda for like $6.95. I know the cost of making your couscous wrap was not more than the cost of Mr. Han or Mr. whatever making his shrimp fried rice orange chicken plate. Predominantly, the cost of meat predominantly is always higher than cost of vegetables and rice. So that's the number one gripe I have in the black community is that the vegan and vegetarian conscious community will always criticize black people for eating, McDonald's or Mr. Ha's kitchen, but the price points are super inflated. Like you're trying to tell me this green asparagus, I don't care how you try to sexify it, this green asparagus couscous shake is $10. You're trying to charge me $10 for a couscous shake, but again, you go to Mr. Han's, you get a meal for $6.95. And then another gripe I have too, tofu and soy. So you're putting tofu and soy, and now you got the tofu couscous asparagus wrap for $10 or $12, and you're trying to sell it as a healthy option. But we all know that soy and tofu is not healthy. In fact, we know for a fact that in men, soy and tofu, or soy is tofu, will lower your testosterone levels and raise your estrogen levels. We all know that. So why are you out here marketing tofu as a healthy option? Even as Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi will tell you that tofu is not good for you. But again, we're trying to market the tofu as a healthy option when it's not good for you and drive up the price points on it. And this is another point I wanna add. It's like this vegan and vegetarian community, they are turning into this exclusive country club community with the same attitude, the same snobby attitude. It's like if you don't eat like they eat, they look down on you. You know, if the single mother with 2 kids that doesn't have time to prepare food every night, if she's not buying, you know, if her food option is Mr. Heinz, I can feed the whole family for $8, or, you know, tofu couscous wrap for $11 for only myself, no one's going to get full off of that. You know, we're looking down on her for buying the Mr. Heinz Chinese kitchen. So we have to stop with this snobbish attitude that we have towards people that aren't eating vegan or vegetarian. Because there's no reason why, again, a salad wrap, the food cost of a salad wrap should be more than the food cost of the Mr. Heinz. It needs to be affordable for everybody in the Black community if you're so passionate about Black people eating healthy. If you're so passionate that you know that these processed foods are causing cancer and getting people sick, then make the healthy food affordable. Because what's going to happen if you don't make it affordable? Corporations are going to start opening up fast food, vegan and vegetarian restaurants. They're going to come into the community and they're going to drive the Black-owned healthy food options out of business. Mark my words. It's going to happen because it's just way too expensive. Way too expensive. And let's get back into the spiritual aspects of, the spiritual aspects of eating vegan and vegetarian. I want you to take down a list of all our great leaders and all our great inventors, Black inventors and great leaders, and tell me which ones were actually vegan or vegetarian. So when I hear the conscious community talk about, oh, you got to be vegan or vegetarian to open up your third eye, you know, my first question to them is, okay, what have you contributed to the Black community that was so great that these other Black leaders and inventors contributed who weren't vegan or vegetarian that we know ate meat? So I think when bringing up the discussion of eating healthy or being vegan or vegetarian, let's just leave it at, okay, the reason why we're vegan or vegetarian is because this food is being poisoned. That's why we're eating this healthy lifestyle. That's it. That's all. This third eye opening, this ancestors were vegan and vegetarian, that's all bullshit. Let's stop it. And then, like I said, the price points are way too high. In fact, comment below, justify to me or give me some logical answer on why vegan food and vegetarian food in the Black community is so expensive. Why a vegan couscous tofu wrap is like $10 or $12. Why a vegan couscous or tofu shake, green shake, is like $10. Like, explain to me why is it so expensive? I'm telling you, this vegan and vegetarian food they're price gouging the hell out of it. It's way too expensive. It's kind of like you have an iPhone. Okay, when like cell phones first came out, I remember I always wanted a Virtu phone. I think it's called Virtu or Votu phone. It was the hype phone that when you allegedly were in an airplane, you would get 4 or 5 bars and you could talk on your phone in the airplane. It was like $1,000 or $2,000. But now, like, it doesn't make sense to buy a Virtu phone when you can just buy a regular iPhone that is just as compatible as the Virtu phone. I mean, if you need to talk on your phone in the airplane, just buy the little, I think it's called GoGo or Delta Wi-Fi service, and you can talk on the phone. It's like they were just price gouging the virtue phone because it's really nothing special about it. Until the normal cell phone manufacturers started with the technology, started catching up with the virtue phone. So now iPhone is, in fact, the iPhone is even better than a virtue phone. Android is even better than a virtue phone. And these phones are less expensive than a virtue phone. The same thing is going to happen with the vegan and vegetarian vegan and vegetarian community. When corporations start coming in and mass producing this food, the price points are going to be so much lower that these vegan and vegetarian restaurants are going to go out of business. Because why should I buy a couscous tofu wrap for $12 when I could go to the corporate-owned couscous and tofu restaurant and buy one for $5.95? I'm telling you, it's coming. So my thing is now, let's be ahead of cause and effect. Let's be ahead of that and just start charging the right price start charging people a fair price for eating healthy. Like, you shouldn't be punished for eating healthy. Like, charge the right price. Let's do the right thing. Let's stop price gouging in our Black community with this overpriced vegan and vegetarian food, and let's charge a fair price. Because I'm telling you, when these corporations come in and people are going to be complaining like, oh man, Black people don't support Black owned. Well, dude, I'm not buying a $12.95 couscous sandwich when I could buy one up the street for $5.95. It doesn't make sense at all. Doesn't make any sense. So let me get your comments. Check out my site, www.searchforuhuru.com. Leave some feedback. Let's open up the dialogue. If you think I'm wrong, hey, be open about it. Let's talk about it. But again, our ancestors ate meat. You don't need to in order to open up your third eye, you don't have to be vegan or vegetarian. And damn, these price points for this vegan and vegetarian food is just way too fucking high in the community, where you know damn well the majority of people in our community can't afford it if they need to feed their family. But you've made it so high so it can be exclusive. So let me hear your feedback. I don't want to get too long-winded. I think you guys got it. Hopefully I explained myself well. If I didn't, just say, Dinus, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. It's all good. All right, talk to you soon.